Here at the 2014 John Hartford Memorial Festival with a couple guys from Great American Taxi. I'll let them introduce themselves since this is radio. You really can't see them. I'll let them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about what you guys do in the band and how long you've been with the band. This is a Great American Taxi.
Hey, Ramblin' Rob, 88.3. It's Chad Staley from Great American Taxi, the last standing founding member of the band. Been driving the bus for 9 years now and play keyboards and sing and write some songs and wrangle the crew around the country. And just super excited to be back here at Hartford Fest. We've been here every year and loving to see things grow here. So great to be here.
Good.
My name's Taylor Sims, and I'm the newest member of the band. I play guitar and sing and write some songs, but I've been with the band since, really I guess our first tour was in March. We started working on a record back in November. So it's been quite a ride. It's been great. This is my first time here at the festival. So I'm glad, I'm really glad.
Excellent. So you guys have been playing live. I mean, when I look back at all the festivals, and you guys are kind of one of those iconic road bands as far as play a traditional blend of Americana, folk, psychedelic sometimes. I mean, but that's all the hippies like, And you guys travel around the U.S. Have you guys found any particular place that's more than welcoming, or what's your favorite place to play across the U.S.?
Well, oddly enough, I think the largest concentration of hippies that are left is right here in the Midwest.
That's true.
I mean, we go to the West Coast a lot, and they're still there. But I'd have to say, I think most of them are here in the Midwest is what we find. So we love coming here to the Heartland and getting a chance to play for some real surviving hippies.
So do you guys have been at every Hartford festival? Have you guys got a favorite John Hartford song? I'll let you each answer individually here.
Well, it kind of goes each time I listen to one of the old records. I mean, so many of his songs are.
I think almost 30 albums. I think he has out.
Yeah, he was prolific.
Right.
Yeah. I really have recently have been into some of that old RCA stuff when he was kind of slotted as the next Bob Dylan on like that early kind of poppy John Hartford stuff like California Fault Line and Mouth to Mouth Resuscitation and those kind of tunes I've been into. But I go through phases, I love all the eras. It just depends on the day,
on your mood.
But at this particular time, that's really what I'm into. That kind of old, some would say overproduced stuff compared to the more modern stuff. But his songwriting just always hits me straight.
It's kind of like his version of Shakedown Street or something. Yeah. Terrapin just kind of overproduced.
Yeah, but he still comes across. The songs still speak. So, yeah.
Chad?
Well, I don't think I can pick a favorite John Hartford song. That's such a loaded question. But I guess I would say I could pick a favorite album, which would be Aeroplane and that band, And actually this weekend here, an organization that's been a big part of this festival is the Steam Powered Preservation Society. And what they've done is they've raised money to preserve old recordings. And one of the biggest assets to this vault they've been creating is all of Tut Taylor's studio tapes. And Tut played in the Aeroplane band. But that's my favorite Hartford record is Aeroplane. Vassar Clements, and I have such a strong connection to him from Old and in the Way, which is really, I think like so many other people, I mean, it's crazy to think that Old and in the Way record, which was drafted from live material too, is the largest selling bluegrass album. Up till recently, I think maybe was it Old Crow Medicine Show? Some newer band. It might not be Old Crow, but a more recent band has no. I don't think it was Yonder, but someone has outsold that Old and in the Way record. But that record was the biggest selling bluegrass record for a couple decades. But yeah, Aerial Plane, Hartford's album Aerial Plane.
Now that you mention that, this is one of my discussions. I first time at the Hartford Fest. I walked around today, this afternoon, saw all the campers, the vendors, the people here, and it's an eclectic mix, young, old, hippie, non-hippie, old timers, etc. And I was thinking in the back of my head, I'll get your guys' opinion on this. Do you think a lot of the old timers, because I used to go 15 years ago to traditional bluegrass shows where I was the only guy with a tie-dye on.
Right.
Do you think a lot of the old timers are looking back and saying, gosh darn it, that Jerry Garcia, he ruined bluegrass for everybody?
Well, I think, for me personally, when I was a Deadhead, I am a Deadhead, still a Deadhead, still, love that band to no end.
Right.
But when Garcia passed away, I was seeing them late 80s, early 90s, but when he passed away, for a couple years, I was living out west, and our whole group of friends, 100, 200 people, we were all kind of lost swimming, because that's how we spent our summers. That's how we spent a lot of vacations, spring break. You go see, all these kids would be like, I'm going to Florida and I'm going to Mexico, and we're like, we're going to see the Grateful Dead,
Right.
But so for a couple years after he passed away, didn't really know what to do, and then some friends from our crew turned us on to Rocky Grass Music Festival in Colorado in Lyons, and I think Old and in the Gray was playing, because it was after Jerry had died. Vassar was still alive, but they were calling themselves Old and in the Gray. But that, it was like a full circle thing to me, it was like kind of the same vibe. There was camping and a lot of music, roots music, and it just kind of felt natural and kind of like, what should happen next. So then we all started going to the bluegrass festivals, and it's cool. And here, Hartford Fest, we've said that every year we've come here, that there's this strong kind of circular thing between the Deadheads and the bluegrass scene in Bill Monroe. And Peter Rowan, it's great that he's here this weekend, because he's really the anchor between that. He was the bluegrass boy.
He's like the missing link.
Yeah, he was the bluegrass boy for years, and then, very close to Jerry Garcia, so it's really cool.
Exactly. So have you guys got any big plans for 2014? Any big shows, any places you're playing that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, for me, being so new, I'm looking forward to it all. But there's some stuff coming up at the end of July and early August that should be super fun. We're doing some stuff in Northern California, a festival called Dead on the Creek, which I've done with my old band, and Taxi's done it every year, right?
A lot of years, yeah.
A bunch of years. And that's a really great festival that I'm looking forward to. And then Salmon Stock, which is a festival up in Alaska.
Yeah, I just read about that. That's a pretty far way to go.
It's so worth it, though.
It is worth it, 100%. But
what about you, Chad? You got any things you're really looking forward to?
Well, yeah, what I'm really looking forward to the most this year with Great American Taxi is trying to finish this next record, late last year, Vince Herman, who was in this band from Leftover Salmon, who he and I were the founders of the band, he decided he wanted to be home more, and Leftover Salmon was playing more, picking up again. So he let us know he was going to duck out of the band, and then we kind of didn't know what to do, because Vince has really been a really strong force in this band, was kind of the front man, so to speak, and that whole thing. But then, people like the people that put on Hartford Fest and the people at some of these other festivals we just mentioned, and some of our other friends around the country, they said, hey, we hope you guys keep it going. We really want to see Taxi go forth and still be a part of the scene and be at our festival. So it really was the catalyst to us keeping it going. And then when we it dawned on us, all of us knew Taylor and had played with him, whether it be, behind the back of the club picking, or at a festival, or in a living room. We really dug what he was doing, and so when it worked out that he could join, then the next thing was, well, let's make a record, and and so that's what I'm really looking forward to this year is working on this record. I think Tim Carbone from Railroad Earth is going to produce it, and we're going to try to get back to work on it in late September.
That sounds good. So if you start late September, probably early next year to roll out, I guess?
Yeah, I think that'd be about right, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, do you guys have any websites, Facebook pages, anything like that you want to let people know about? Any place that they can maybe download your music, get your music for free?
Yeah, boy, free music. There's a lot of that these days, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. No one wants to pay for anything anymore.
People can go to greatamericantaxi.com. We're on all the social networks too, facebook.com/greatamericantaxi. I know there's a lot of taxi shows up on archive.org if you use that site at all.
Love that site.
And there's some free songs you can download off of our website. And there's music you can buy too, which helps us keep doing this. So, and big thanks to community radio and you guys at 88.3, because that all helps to get the word out about roots music, and we love the synergy between community radio and roots music.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the only place, like I say, you can really hear music that people aren't really exposed to. Like I play a lot of obscure stuff, bluegrass stuff, jam band stuff, Grateful Dead stuff, real rare stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys been playing live a lot. Real quick, I'll let you answer individually. What do you like best about playing live?
Taylor?
I think it's just connecting with the people that are there, and trying to put a smile on their face and a song in their heart and make them dance. I mean, that's and for me personally, I mean, it's never dependent on the size of the crowd. It's just whether they're having a good time, and I mean, that's to me, that's why I get up there on stage and do it, is to try and connect with the people and show them a piece of myself and trying to see a piece of them too.
Almost like synergy between you.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a great energy exchange. You put it out there, and hopefully they take it in and multiply it and send it back, and then you start the cycle, and that's really where it comes. It really starts to feel good, like I'm doing what I should be doing with myself,
Right.
And but then aside from that, it really just the camaraderie of playing with friends and trying to create something that's bigger than ourselves, with the people that I've been so fortunate to run into and to meet and to connect with. That's really what it is.
What do you like best, Chad?
Yeah, I'd echo Taylor's sentiments. That connection. We sometimes we work off of a set list, sometimes we don't. Generally, I don't like to, because I like to feel it out and see what's going to happen and what people are reacting to. But when you get the thing really happening between the audience and the band, and there's a band that can leave the door open for improvisation and for things to happen that aren't planned, some real magic can happen there, and time starts to stand still. It's all of a sudden you're like so in this moment, and that's what really gets me off and really keeps me sleeping in the back of the Suburban and driving around thousands of miles year after year, is those little moments in time.
Yeah, a lot of different musicians say that same thing, that synergy between the crowd and you creates almost, like you said, a time and space continuum warp where everything just kind of stops, and it's just there.
Yep.
You might jam 30 minutes, you don't even know it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like you lose time. It's almost like a high.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up here with just another couple quick questions. I know you guys will have a new album out, and you guys can get more information on that at their website. Or I'm sure you guys have a Facebook page now, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yep. So find them on Facebook, kids. Be happy that you did. So we were celebrating music Bill Monroe up here at the Bill Monroe Campground, John Hartford Memorial Festival. What do you guys think makes bluegrass, or this maybe the jamgrass genre, or the genre you find yourselves in? What do you think makes the music so timeless?
I think it comes down to a few different things. You know, the sense of community that it's always had, bringing people together in the festival setting. You know, people are here together. It's not a club. It's not a bar. You know, you can choose the level of involvement you want to be. You know, if you want to just come and stay at your campsite and pick, you can do that, or you can be at the front of the stage the whole time. You know, and so there's a lot of community, a lot of people gathering that only see each other at these festivals. You know, and then I think also too the fact that bluegrass and then the subsequent jamgrass stuff, you know, based on the traditional bluegrass, since it is a traditional music, it'll never have the stigma of popular music, so it'll always continue to thrive on itself. There will always be people passing it down.
I think there's going to be a Florida Georgia line of bluegrass coming out.
There could be.
There sure could be, but I think it's in really good hands right now, as it always has been. And like we were speaking about it earlier, you know, I mean, as far as the traditional bluegrass into the jamgrass, you know, it just there's just such a good community, and people are, you know, they're accepting of it all for the most part. You know, there are some really staunch traditionalists, and they want their bluegrass to sound exactly the way they want to sound it.
Nasally.
Yeah, the way they remember it from 1946.
Right.
But you know, if we think back on those times, you know, Bill Monroe was an innovator, you know, and so I think that he wants everybody else that comes after him to be an innovator, you know. At least that's how I gather it. But yeah, I think it's just the community of it all, you know, that really keeps it moving along. People can, you know, it's really easy to get to grab onto, you know, and to feel like you're a part of it, you know, and not some big rock and roll show at a stadium where the band is there and you're always here, you know. It's a whole subculture, you know.
I can't add anything to that. I think Taylor nailed that. So yeah, I think that's the truth right there.
It is, and you know, like you say, there I see a lot of gray-haired people here. I see a lot of kids here, a lot of young kids here, and it's kind of a self-perpetuating thing when people come to these festivals and see these bands, and you realize, wow, you know, probably live is the best place to see this music.
Oh yeah.
For sure. All right, well, I'm going to let you do any shout-outs here before we roll out of here. You guys have any shout-outs you'd like to give, or any good causes that you support you'd like to mention?
You know, I would just say, if you get a moment, go check out the website for this John Hartford festival. It's John Hartford Memfest. John Hartford MEMFEST.com. It's held down here in Bean Blossom, Indiana. It's you know, actually I probably shouldn't give a shout out because we're trying to keep this a little bit of a secret, you know. But it's a great, you'll enjoy yourself, and it's a great place to bring the kids and the family and just camp out for the weekend and take in the music when and where you want. And like I said, the Steam Preservation Power Society, I would check that out. And the Mark Van Foundation too. So that's what I got. Great to share some time with y'all out there on the airwaves.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'd just like to say support local live music and make it a part of your life. And as always, I'd like to give a shout out to my mother.
Check out Taylor's other band, Bonnie and the Clydes too. You'll love it.
That's right. I'll have to check them out. All right, I got one last question. Make it real easy or real hard, depending on your answer. What do you think your favorite Grateful Dead song is?
That's like asking the Hartford question. That changes all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's easy or hard.
I think right now it's Candyman.
Oh, nice.
I'd say Candyman.
It's the first Candyman I've had in about 50 interviews.
Wow, all right. Yeah. Well, good. I broke the mold.
Everybody's usually Dark Star.
Yeah. I think Candyman right now is my favorite Dead song.
Excellent.
Well, again, like, you know, like Chad was saying, it's a tough question. You know, I always go back to the ones I first heard, which was American Beauty and Working Man's Dead. So Box of Rain, I think, has always been one that really
That's
struck.
popular.
That really struck me. And then I always, you know, it'll just pop into my head in the morning or something. I'll just be singing it, you know. But it's ever changing. But for right now, that's the one.
Well, excellent. Maybe next time it'll change. Well, guys, I'm going to let you get out of here. I know you're going to be playing a little later here at the 2014 John Hartford Memorial Fest. I appreciate you dropping by to visit Ramblin' Rob, and we'll be playing this and some Great American Taxi in just a little bit. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Great. Thank you, Rob. Right on, guys.